Flexing ain't discreet about it. Extra, extra, read about it. Say you wanna beef about it. We gon' come and see about it. Flexing ain't discreet about it. Extra, extra, read about it. Say you wanna beef about it. Find out nothing sweet about it. Flexing ain't discreet about it. Extra, extra, read about it.
What's up, though? It's happening.
Yeah.
B.Woods on the mic podcast, and we got the first mixer we have on the show.
Wow.
LA legend. He's done it from the clubs. He's done it to the concerts. He's been on the radio. He's currently the DJ for the Los Angeles Clippers. He's been the soundtrack to the streets of LA. He's out here winning. He's grinding and he's winning. Give it up for DJ Dan.
Come on, where's the sound effect?
Oh my God.
What up, bro?
It took so long to get you on the show. I know you super busy. NBA is happening right now. You're doing your thing.
Well, just life in general, man. So please, I say charge it to the knowledge and the ability to do what I'm doing instead of like me dodging you or nothing like that. You know what? Nothing like that. You know what I mean?
It's all good. No, that wasn't even where I was going with it.
Okay, good.
You know,
all right, cool. Let me put this memo back real quick.
Don't think I'm dodging you, brother. No, it's all love, and I think it's so dope because the story of a lot of mixers, and I just like, I don't really see you're like my guy. I was actually going through like old stuff and you know, like same thing like the Man Cave, and I didn't realize how far back we went since like Santa Monica College. I was doing a fashion show at SMC.
You were?
Yeah, and on the flyer it was like you, Kevin Slow Jam, and James, and I'm like,
right.
And this is when I was doing college radio. And so, and honestly, I don't even remember how we even met. I was like, did we meet at the radio station? Did we meet at
no, party? Like I want to say somebody introduced us because it was a Santa Monica, because I was there with my boy Ken, and we were just like, we didn't go to class, you know, we was playing dominoes.
Of course.
Right there in the cafeteria area. I mean, we went to a couple of classes, but I mean, I got my AA, so I was good with that. But we had to have met outside, but I think were you already on the street team?
More than likely, I was probably already at the street team.
Yeah, because you started there when?
When did I start there? Probably what year?
I'm talking about the beat, yeah.
The year 2000.
No, it had to be before that because I started 99.
Okay, so we were out roughly around that same time.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you were always in the streets.
Yeah. Doing
these clubs.
Right.
And you were one of the biggest DJs out here mixing the records. I mean, we're talking about before there was Serato, before there was your MacBook Pro. There was an upstairs to get to the club, and you had to carry the crates to get there.
This was before social media. Everything was on a flyer.
Right, everything was on a flyer. And in that world, you managed to become the soundtrack of LA, just mixing, which was super, super dope, to the point to where you've taken it to the corporate space. You've done it on the radio. And you developed not just a name for yourself, but a brand and just the way that you did the mixes. And the thing that's so dope is that in New York, like a lot of the mixers a lot of the people like Clue and Envy and all these different mixers are big brands on the East Coast, but on the West Coast, I don't really think we celebrate our mixers and the same way at all.
Right.
And I think that what you contributed to LA radio, to LA music is just so dope. And that's why we had to have you here and tell your story of DJ Dance.
Man, let me tell you, I'm gonna need some help with the story because, you know, just like with anything, bro, like you know, when you go to work, whatever your 9 to 5 is, and this is no shade to any of that stuff. It's just some stuff become repetitious, but then some things stand out. And those events that stand out, there's one part of that event that stands out that makes you remember that actual event. You're not going to remember the whole thing, but you got to remember, it's just like people going into the radio station, you know, being on the street team and before being on air, it's like, okay, what event we got to go do? We got to do this. All right, cool. Unless somebody pulled you out of your character or made you remember something in that time, where whether it was they wanted a shirt or they wanted a shout out, you made that call back to the studio, talking to whoever, Dinah Steele, whoever was in the afternoons and whatever, like, hey, it's B.Woods, I'm out here with Pee-wee, whatever, but I got this guy right here celebrating his birthday. And those are things that you remember.
Right.
Not the normal setting up the easy up and bringing out the speakers and all this. Like those are the normal things, you know what I'm saying? But there's got to be something in that event that reminds you of that time, what it meant to you and things like that. So it's easy to get lost in everyday work, but then it's those moments where like you're trying to, you know, like you're trying to pull out, like if I could sit and remember, like I actually want to have a sit down with a couple of my DJs, my buddies, my best friends. I want you there. I just want people there to just remember, that can take that time to just sit back and go, hey, do you remember this? And I go, oh, you know, like, because I've had those conversations before where it's like, hey, do you remember this event? And I go, give me something about it. It's like, oh, well, remember, blah, 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 the speaker went out. Or it's like, oh, there's only a couple of times that happened. Right. Or the mic didn't work, or the computer crashed, or the mixer crashed, or power went out, or whatever. And I'm saying way before the computers and stuff. But there's things that stand out to make you remember those events. You know what I mean?
And that's the biggest thing, because we are in this space where we do so many events, literally thousands of events over years. Yeah. And we share so many different moments with so many different people. So when we say shared so many moments with so many different people, we're talking about every event you share a separate moment with literally maybe 1,000 people, 500 people. Yeah. And they take that with you, and you're sharing another moment the following weekend or the next Tuesday and the next Tuesday. So multiply that on and on and on and on. Right, you become into the subconscious psyche of so many different people. And that's what makes you dope. And that's what makes you a legend out here in LA. And so for you, how did everything get started with you out here as far as mixing? Like, what did you do to get started mixing, and how did your love for music start? And you're originally from LA, so
born and raised, brother.
Yeah, man. So how did your journey start?
My journey started, I had an injury in high school, but before that I was just learning. Let's take it back just a little bit. Before that, I want to say like 5th, 6th grade, you know, you go to your first little dance, house party or whatnot, and get dropped off at a time. You got to get picked up at a certain time, and you know, you're shy and all that stuff. But like, okay, had a girlfriend at the time, but I'm gonna tell you right now, like, okay, all that was cool, but the dude that was making us dance, bro, I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, what, like, I can't get off this floor with her, or I need to sit down. All right, I'm tired. I'm gonna go get some punch. I'm gonna go get damn, he played that. I gotta get up. I gotta get up. And I go and I stand next to him. And at that time, bro, the turntables seemed like they were like, like this big. Like each record seemed like it was this big. And I was like, man, what's he doing? What's that thing in the middle? You start seeing stuff. You see in movies like Breaking and Beat Street and all these other, you know, movies that have a DJ and some culture to it. And it's just like, yo, like, what's this guy doing? He's going from this one to that one, but I never hear what he's doing in the headphones on this side. He just drops it and then boom, it's done. And I was like, okay, this is cool. And I told my pops, I was like, yeah, I want to be a DJ. He was like, yeah, like, I'm gonna be blunt, you know, pops, pops. And if anybody knows my pops, like, motherfucker, last week you want to play the saxophone. Week before that, you want to do this and that. I was like, yeah, but this, I was like, bro, like this. And plus I couldn't really dance. Like I wasn't dancing great. So, but I was like, yo, like this guy is doing it. He was like, whatever. So I was just saving up allowance. And the first thing I bought was a mixer.
And how old were you when you bought the mixer?
I was 13.
13 years old, and you buy, and how do you know where to buy? Did you go to like the Radio Shack or something?
Crenshaw Swap Meet, which was down the street from the Radio Shack. Because
No.
Radio Shack didn't have the size mixer that dude had. And then my pops actually had a Radio Shack, a realistic mixer, but it was small.
Mm-hmm.
But what I saw was what they call in a DJ coffin was a 19-inch. So this is basically when the turntable was the right way, the mixer was 19 inches, and the turntable was this way. So it was so big that you couldn't just sit there in one spot like you can now and navigate. Right. You had to walk over to that side.
Right.
You had to put the record on. You had to walk over to the other side. And so I was like, if I bought a mixer, then I need to figure out things to put inside of this mixer or connect to. So I grab a turntable, then I get then I got it like a tape deck. And I'm trying to figure out how to go from one to the other, what the fader does and all that stuff. And I just, then going to high school, playing football, got hurt, couldn't continue any further. Like baseball was my first love, but football stopped it. But what I realized is that I always had a knack for music. And when I say that is, when I was hurt, music is what got me through it.
And what type of music were you listening to, and what were some of the artists that you were listening to?
You got to think, my growing up, my pops, my grandfather, like the records I got were their records. You know what I'm saying? So I learned the vibe off of the stuff that they had. So you take the blues that my grandfather has, you take the Etta James, the Etta Jones, you take the Miles Davis, you take, everything back from the Johnny Guitar Watsons, you take just jazz and blues, and then my pops with the Motown, and then remember those records that came on late night, or those commercials that came on late night, like, no, my brother, you guys to get your own. It was like a compilation album of like all the old school hits, the Shy Lights and this and that.
Right.
But they had all the original joints, so the original full albums. So I was able to sit and listen to them, learn how to drop the needle on the record, learn how to listen to the track that I wanted to listen to, flip the record over, find the record that I wanted, but music just helped me get through the pain that I was going through, because baseball was over for me. You know what I mean? So I had already started gathering my stuff. And then I remember I got a call from one of my good friends. He was like, yeah, I want you to do my birthday party. And I was like, bro, like I got like my pop's amp at the house, big Sony silver knob amp with the big meters that go across like this, that got hot if you left it on for an hour and a half.
Right.
It's like I grabbed my pop's speakers from the house and this amp, and I rocked this party for 5 hours with a half a crate of records, and not half a crate long way, but short way. So I may have had, 15 records, but they were full-length albums. So I was learning to find cuts on an album that would make people go. You understand what I'm saying?
This is all your pop's old music. And so
my pop's old stuff, and then whatever I would buy from allowance. Because like I said, I started getting, I started collecting. I had the mixer. I got a turntable that was straight arm. Then I had with no pitch control, so I couldn't move the tempo. Then I had a tape deck. So I had a gang of tapes and a gang of music that I had from the original K-Day, from Mighty 690 from San Diego, because we were able to get that. So just like that pause and play, or play and record, I'm like, oh, I got that record. I got that song. And I'm in there on the headphones like,
and so now you're in a space right now. So how does your friend even know that you mix? He just comes over to the house.
We played baseball together. Okay. And he was just like, yeah, I'm having a party. And I was like, man, that'd be fresh. If I could DJ it. And he was like, man, let's do it. Let's do it. It's gonna be next Saturday, blah, blah, blah. I told Pops, and he was just like, you ain't got, I was like, but you do, you know what I'm saying? You got this and this. And I got a couple of records that I got from the warehouse and a couple other spots. And I made it work. And then you have to realize, bro, like after an hour, you got 4 more hours to go. You played every hit that you can think of in that hour.
And so right there, how many people was there? And
15, 20.
so 15, 20 people. And then so this is your first time actually
First time.
performing in
Yep.
front of people.
Yep.
What did that feel like? And were you nervous? And what was going through your
Oh,
mind?
hell yeah. Bro, I'm gonna tell you right now, the nerves don't go anywhere. I'm still nervous to this day before every event. Every event. I'm not, I don't take anything for granted when it comes to doing these events. Like, this one's gonna be easier than blah, blah, blah. Like, no, I'm nervous before every event. So yeah, I was hella nervous being at the first event that I had to do. And then not knowing what they're gonna ask for. I've never had a request, you know what I'm saying? So me going in as a DJ, I took what I had and what I think would work. Like, of course, the Shy Lights weren't gonna work at that party, but I had to figure out. I had a whole Heavy D and the Boys album. I had a whole New Edition album, a whole Public Enemy album. I had, I want to say I had Eric B and Rakim, maybe an EPMD. I had.
You had all the old stuff.
I had, but at that time, that was the stuff that was
banging.
Bro, that was 88, 89. You know what I'm saying? So.
And so when you're looking at what I guess the backyard, the dance floor, are you more focused on the music? Are you trying to keep people dancing? Bro,
I was like, what am I gonna play next?
Got you.
At this point, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't know what I was gonna do was gonna make them dance. I didn't know what I was gonna do was gonna keep their attention. I didn't know anything. This is my first time doing it out the box. The guy that I saw do it had it all. He had all the equipment, all the right DJ stuff, the big speakers, the turntables, all the records. He had multiple crates of records. If I asked for something, he would say it's coming up next. If somebody else asked for something, it's coming up next. I just went in with what I had. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But that night, I learned to be savvy on the microphone because I had to figure out how to fill 5 hours of an event that I only had 3 hours worth of music for. You were gonna hear the same song twice, if not 3 times. You know what I mean?
Right.
But now, how can hey, anybody want to get on the mic? Anybody want to blah, blah, blah? Who knows all the, I had Run DMC, like who knows all the words to this? Who know, okay, no, your turn, you try it. You know what I'm saying? And just going back and forth, sometimes the same song was played for 15, almost 20 minutes because I had everybody doing their version of it. You know what I'm saying? So time was moving.
And so you get through that experience, and then
I said I'll never do this shit again.
Oh, so you quit after the first day?
I was like, yo, I'm done. And then I got a call like, yo, my sister wants you to do her party next month. And it's the same dude, same house, same spot. Bro, I got $50 for that first party. Singles were $3.99, $4.99. I'm talking about albums.
Mm-hmm.
A full album may have been $9.99. So let's just say I got the newest albums for the next month, $9.99 going into $50. What I get? 5 records, 5.5 records, or 3 records and a couple of singles.
Right.
So now I had to strategically figure out off the shit I was playing, then what's going to be the newest thing. Obviously, music wasn't coming out as fast as it is now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I did it, and then I took a break.
And so you take the break, and so at this point, are you feeling like I'm passionate about this, or is sports in the back of your mind still? And what takes you to the next step?
Sports was out because I had fractured 2 discs. We didn't have the money for the surgery, and I just had to do what I could do so I wouldn't be paralyzed. You know what I mean? So I was like, well, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And then you get a call. Hey, my daughter or son was at so-and-so's party, you know, and they want to see if you're available, you know, to do their party. And then after that, it was word of mouth. It just kept going. The word of mouth kept going. You know, there were days that it worked. There were days that, again, I was like, I couldn't get them to dance. I don't know what to do. And then you hear somebody in the back going, yo, like, that was amazing. Like, you played everything. I'm going, it didn't show because wasn't nobody on their feet.
Right.
You know, so I'm like, you feel bad at the end of the night asking for your 75 and nobody danced. You know what I'm saying?
And so at this point, are you doing it just for money, or are you actually feeling passionate about it?
Well, remember, I love music.
Mm-hmm.
But then as a DJ, I had to stand back and understand that because I love music, learn music and learn that everybody doesn't like the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So my passion for the music is there. It's always there. Even with the stuff that we have now, my passion for the music is there. I know there's a hit somewhere, and I'll be late. I don't care. I'll be late. But at this point, I'm going, all right, well, because when I did that first party, I was working at Lucky's. I was, I was a bag boy and bringing in the carts for the grocery store. And I remember after 2 weeks and I got my check and I'm like, but I calculated this. And mom was like, yeah, well, Uncle Sam. I was like, well, it don't say nothing about Uncle Sam. Like, who's Uncle Sam? Like, I don't know who these people are taking stuff out. She's like, oh no, the government takes this out. And then Social Security takes this and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? And I looked at this check and I knew that I had a party coming up. And I was like, yeah, this 2 weeks to get paid when I'm about to get paid tomorrow, this amount. And if I do another one, then I'm doubling my, what I'm saying? Like I was thinking ahead as a businessman.
Right.
But like what kept me driven, I should say, is more research on the music, equipment, things that I know I need. So let's say, oh, I got a turntable and a tape deck, but I need 2 turntables. All right, well, that's going to cost this. So I need to either get out there, mow some more lawns, or promote, figure things out, And at that time I was like, okay, well, let me get some business cards. And the business cards, I found that business card the other day and my pop showed it to me and it's got their house number on it. You know what I'm saying? Because there was no cell phones. There was no, it's got their number. And there was no 323, bro. Like there was no prefix. It was just the number.
And so now you're promoting, you're becoming your own, your own person, you're generating your own income. And then at a certain point, you kill it because you're 15 going on to, the next few years. And what's that one moment where you're just like, okay, I got this. I know I can do this thing.
This was at St. Bernard. We had the Oktoberfest, which is like the October picnic / carnival that everybody goes to. Like there's the Ferris wheel, there's the beer garden for the adults, there's all the booths where you can throw the ball, like a little mini carnival, you know what I'm saying? And I remember in the 10th grade, Brother Jim, I'll never forget his name. Brother Jim was like, hey, committee, like we're looking for security that day. We're looking for X, Y, and Z. We're also looking for a DJ to do, the party. And I just threw my hand up. I was like, I DJ. Somebody in the back was like, at home. And for some other people, I was like, I'll do it. Like, I'll do it. Like, I'll do this. And he was like, all right, you're hired. So then now we need blah, blah, blah. And I'm looking at time going, bro, that's 3 weeks away. Like, what the hell am I gonna do? Like, what am I gonna do? Because this is the biggest event that Burners does every year. Mm-hmm. Everybody from Westchester comes, Inglewood comes, all the faculty and staff, the families, like it's big in the Westchester area. So it got so big. Well, let's say my 10th grade year, I set it off. It was a dance that they wanted to do for an hour. No, it was 2 hours. Mm-hmm. It was a 2-hour dance. They realized that when that first Oktoberfest happened and the doors opened and I started playing music, that no one was at the booths doing anything for 2 hours. For 2 hours. This is my 10th grade year. I was hit after hit after hit, hit after hit after hit, hit after hit after hit. Boom, it was done. People are like, yo, we're going home. You know what I'm saying? Like it's over. Like we're tired. So the next year, now, mind you, I had done some parties in between that. The next year, they were like, okay, do you mind DJing? I was like, oh, bro, like, come on, say less. They're like, we're gonna have to break it up. And I'm thinking like, oh, somebody else. They were like, nah, like it was such a hit last year. We can make more money from it. So you're going to DJ for 30 minutes at a time. And then we're going to clear it out. And then another set of people were coming into the gym.
Right.
We're going to promote this thing, blah, blah, blah. So mind you, the gym held 1,000 people, bro.
Wow.
I'm DJing 8 o'clock to 8:30 and tell them it's over. They go out, and then there's another 300 to 400 people lined up ready to go in because they didn't make the first one. But now these people that left weren't ready to leave, so they jump back in line. Now they pay again from 8:30 to 9. Then I did 9 to 9:30. Then I did 9:30 to 10, and then it was over. Then they went and got on rides and stuff. So I was like, I can do this.
And that's the thing. And it was, and most of these people, now you're seeing them around town. Are people recognizing you from the DJ gigs and all that stuff? And I think what really kind of turned up your brand and your vibe was what you were doing on the college scene. Because that's when I became aware of you. Because when you're a little bit younger, you don't really have the opportunity to kind of go out and do your thing. You know, parents are on your head. And now when you get to college, especially out here in LA, you know, you have USC, you have UCLA, you have Loyola, you have Northridge, you have El Segundo, you have all these places. You have all these parties, you have all these fraternities. How do you get into that world of DJing on the college scene?
Shit. College scene? My first college scene was 90, 91, and that was Cal State Northridge. And then from there, somebody was there. No, this was 90. This was spring. No. This was end of summer going into fall, because school was just starting back. And I think I just got my license, and then was doing outside events out at the dorms. And somebody there was like, yo, I do stuff or I go to UCLA. And I was like, okay, yeah, put me down. You know, let's talk, blah, blah, blah. Then somebody from there was like LMU, and somebody there was Cal Poly Pomona. Somebody was there, was like, do you travel? I was like, yeah, like I'm down to travel wherever. Okay, we got Santa Barbara. Okay, cool. Oh, we got San Diego. And then San Diego, like that's when I was heavy into Seven Oasis stuff, and we were already doing the step shows and all that stuff. So, I mean, college stuff, when college stuff happened, college stuff was like a, bro, it was almost like a disease. Like it just, boom, you sneezed and it just grew, you know what I mean? In a good way. Obviously, because like I was out of my parents' pockets at the age of 14, 15, because I was doing these events. And like you said, those college events and stuff like that, like the fraternity stuff. Shout out to my man Johnny Cruz, that the Kappa Alpha Psi, that opened my eyes to a lot of the frat world stuff, where I got a chance to learn about every frat there is through Kappa Alpha Psi. Although I never pledged, it's like I know all the letters, I know the years, I know their calls, I know everything down to their juice from the Kappa juice to the, you know, Omega oil and all that stuff. Like I know all that stuff because I was around it all.
You and not only you were around it, you and we eventually became friends, and you brought me around it because I didn't know nothing about it too.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I would celebrate Kappa Christmas more than I celebrated regular Christmas.
Yeah,
and it was
me too. Me too. I look forward to Kappa Christmas. Like I look forward to that call July, August, September, because I knew they were planning. When that phone rang and I looked, and I was just like, oh, 562, like that's somebody from the EK chapter. Like, let's go. Like, what's up? Hey, we just want to find out if yes, I'm available.
When you talk about Kappa Christmas, for those that don't know, it's this big ball where you just have the sexiest women.
Yeah.
You have educated brothers.
Yeah.
And
I'm talking, they're dressed to the nines, bro. Like
nine.
And it's, you got you got fraternity and sorority, like you got fraternities in there stepping and line, and training with 3-piece tuxes on and Stacy's and the ladies in silk and whatever it may be. But it's a big toy drive that they have every year, and it's for great benefit to serve those underprivileged. But bro, like I started getting creative, like, yo, who could I bring to keep this longevity going so they can't get rid of me? You know what I'm saying? Like, so they can't, like, oh, like Dent's got connections to so-and-so. He brought so-and-so for free. Bro, I brought Keep the Sneak.
And who would be some of those so-and-sos, for instance?
Keep the Sneak, Too Short, Glasses. Let's see. I'm talking, when I say the Keep the Sneak, Too Short stuff, like this was when, like, I helped bring the Bay to LA. So when that whole vibe was going, like you have your guys that are, your Rick Rock Beats, I had the Federation come down. I had like all these cats, like when the hyphy movement hit, like I had all these dudes at the drop of a dime because I was playing them on radio, and they were like, yo, the least we could do is come down and get down for you. And then I give them the scene. I'm going, yo, we at this spot, there's going to be 5,000 people, and all you got to do is come out and do 2 songs. And people look for it, like, who you got? Don't worry about it. Just when they get here, you let them know, or let me know, and I'm getting off the turntables and I'm gonna walk them in. Blah blah blah. Like it was on names like that for back in the day. Like I was, even from there, like I was bringing people like Bow Wow and Jermaine Dupri to high schools, because of the connections with radio. Rest in peace, Shelly. But it was like she was like, what do you need? Who else do you need? I'm like, yo, I need this person, I need that person. So it's like I was able to use my connects in the radio world to help with my longevity. Like these guys weren't getting paid. I wasn't getting nothing from it besides more recognition. You know what I'm saying? It's like I was using each platform to step up another level. You know what I mean?
Right. And so now you're killing the college scene, right? And you're developing this name for yourself, and you're stepping away from, I would say, just being, I would say, like an amateur. Now you're a branded DJ out here. When you go to and when you go to a party, you like, all right, DJ Dance is going to be there. It's going to be popping. So now the promoters know, okay, not only do we have a DJ, we have a name behind it, so we know that we're going to make money when he comes to the party. And so you brought up some good names like 7 Oasis. So that was a big promo club out here in LA. Yep. Johnny Cruz, big promoter. So all of the clubs in LA were ran by promoters and these crews. And so what was your relationship with a lot of the promoters out here?
Johnny showed me a lot, man. Like, let's go. I mean, we can go back to 7 Oasis first before we jump into Johnny. Like 7 Oasis, shout out to Troy Marshall, Richard Cambridge, shout out to Greg, shout out to everybody who's in 7 Oasis. Like, I joined 7 Oasis. I joined a part of 7 Oasis in high school. And then out of high school, just started doing some of their 18 and over stuff. We even started some high school stuff called Funky Ronnie Productions. We were doing clubs on Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays. We would do Sunday afternoon things with the high school stuff. We would do, we would roll around with these vans. I had a white van with the gold leaf that had the 7 Oasis on it. Like that was my personal van. But we were out there, we were promoting, bro. Like I was like, yo, like I'm a part of a company that's out here killing it. Like, let's go from doing the step show stuff to doing these college things and all that stuff. Like it just kept building. So Troy was like one of my fathers in the entertainment business when it came to putting me out there. You know, it's like anywhere he went, it's just like, what? Like, what? You ain't gonna come to a 7 Oasis party? You know, we got dance. Now it was a trip because we had other guys that were there before me. We had not Albie Shore, but we had DJ Al B. We had King Arthur. Even Damu was a part of it for a while. You know what I'm saying? But then he left and went to Diamond Productions. And then you had all these other names that were ahead of me. And he was just like, yo, we got the hottest nigga in town. We got this and that. We got DJ this, da, 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 da. you better be at our event. Like he's doing this, handing out flyers where I'm handing out flyers like, here you go. You know, I'm just like, all right, whatever, it's just work. But he's bigging me up, Richard bigging me up, you know, everybody bigging me up. And I was just like, yo, like this is crazy. Then you start getting other promoters like Johnny Cruz, like took me down a road when it came to the fraternity stuff. Again, he opened my eyes to a lot of different things. He even took me on the road, bro, to Atlanta for the Kappa Conclave. It's like the big meeting they have, or the big well, it's a conclave, but like a big gathering they have every year, and it moves around from city to city. But he was like, yo, like I'm bringing Dents to the A, you know what I'm saying, to rock out, you know. And they were like, oh, well, he'll open up, and then we have our guy to close. And I was like, cool, like, and this is still with vinyl. And he's like, yo, you're gonna open up. I'm like, cool, what time? He was like 10 to 2. I was like, they can't go no longer than 2:30, 3 o'clock. Like, I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna kill it.
Right.
Bro, I get in there and I kill it. Like, I'm talking sweat to the walls. It's 5,000 people on 3 floors. And I got the middle floor, and I'm killing it. I'm like, yeah. And then they pipe the sound into the top floor. So now I'm middle and top floor. Bottom is strictly reggae. And so I'm killing upstairs, downstairs. I got the people upstairs stomping their feet so the people down here can hear them. And they yelling up top, like I'm killing it. DJ comes in from off the air. He gets off at 2. It's now like 2:10, 2:15. He's like, yo, I appreciate you. I'm gonna shout you out. I'm about to jump on. I'm like, cool. I'm sitting there like, nigga, ain't nothing he gonna do. Like, I killed this.
Right.
Look at them. Like, look at these fools. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're sweating, they're partying. He was like, yo, give it up to Cali, DJ Dents. Yo, he's killing it, blah, blah, blah. We're gonna get him out here soon. Sooner than later. He rocked it. You know, heard you did a great job. He was like, I'm about to turn it up for the A, blah, blah, blah. I was like, cool. Like, yeah, got my shout out. Everybody's like, yeah. He threw on one record. I still don't know to this day what the hell it was. He went from 2:30 to 6:30 in the morning and didn't play anything I played and wasn't there to hear what I didn't play. 2:30 to 6:30, finally, I was like, I got a flight at 9. Like, I got to get back to the room and go get my shit.
Right.
I talked to Johnny to say, yeah, he didn't leave out of there until 8. He didn't play nothing you played and killed it and kept the crowd. I was like, what? This is when I finally found out that, like, there's a different culture when it comes to the A, like in Miami and shit like that. Like, I'm going, what do you mean the club stays open till after 2 o'clock, 2:30, 3 o'clock? Like, what do you mean you could still drink? What do you mean you could still party? Like, the sun was up.
And that's the thing that's so crazy, because when it comes to being a DJ, what works in Atlanta doesn't work in LA, so to speak. What works in Miami doesn't really work. And so I think for LA, as much as we have mixers out here, I don't think we have an LA mix culture out here, to the point to where, you know, when you go to Miami, you know what Miami sounds like. You know what Atlanta sounds like. You know what DC
Got Miami stories, like.
Yeah. And so stylistically for you, when you're traveling, when you came back, what did you do differently so that you can groom your own sound so that people can move? And what is your sound? Like, how would you describe the DJ Dents mix?
The DJ Dents sound is playing the request. So that's, may sound cliche and all that, but when I got home, bro, I had a reality check. I had a culture check that it's not just what goes on out here. Like, remember in LA, remember in radio, like we're playing just the hottest shit.
Right.
So for LA, we're playing the hottest shit, whether it's LA or New York, right? Very seldom were we hitting the South until Ludacris came out and started really making some noise and stuff like that. Yeah, of course we had Ghetto Boys and stuff like that, but like the South was its own thing. Then it was like the Master P's, there was, you know, all this stuff. So then the culture started growing, then it had no choice but to spill over to Cali. New York wasn't fucking with it like that, but Cali was like the melting pot. So when you ask what's the DJ Dents sound, the DJ Dents sound is what's hot,
right,
and what works. You know what I mean? So if I could go from Junior Mafia to Master P to NWA and to Puff, or at that time he was Puff. Was he? Yeah, he was Puff. And you know, with the Craig Mack, then back to, or I want to say back, like let's stay on the East Coast and hit an AZ, a Nas, swing back down, you know, with a Master P, a Juvie, and shit like that, and then work my way through Texas, and you know, then come back to Cali. But then Cali was like, okay, what are we doing that's hot? What are we doing? So it's one of those things where you go, bro, like I can't, Dents can't be known for East Coast heavy, West Coast heavy. Dents has got to be known for everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And obviously now it would be old school, because I would love to play those sets again that were the fun dance music. Whereas now you got the, you know, you got the guys that are rapping and it's just, it's bottle service music. You know, it's stripper club music. It's head nodding, but there's nobody on the floor music. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's hot music. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I want to be known to go, this motherfucker, I can't sit down. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to take you down memory lane, but then still hit you with some new shit that you know, but I'm not going to take you 2 hours down a rabbit hole of stuff that you don't know. You know what I mean?
And that was the thing that I, like, me just being a fan of you going, like, I loved going to your parties to the point to I'll work with your ass for free, be like, okay, carry my records, I'll come through, just so I can be a part of the experience of what you do. And one of the really good things that you do, they call it reading the crowd. Like, you know how to look at the audience and kind of see where people are at and play the right thing at the right time. And you were really, really good at that. One of the memories, it was just a club in downtown LA, and you were playing all like just dope, just hip hop, like you were doing all the West Coast stuff. And then out of nowhere, you just dropped the music and it's silent in the club. We're talking about like 1,000 people. And you were like, we don't usually play this, but we're going to play it today. And you played that Britney Spears, I'm a snake, or I'm a slave, or I'm a slave. Yeah, I'm a slave.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that was, you had the Pharrell beat on top of it, and the crowd went crazy. And I was like, oh, this dude is different.
Bro, I got chills, because like I'm like, damn, I remember that. Yeah. Like I didn't, like this was not anything that was ever on my radar to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, I was just like, okay, this dude is doing it different, and the crowd went crazy. You're talking about an all-black crowd going crazy for some Britney Spears after you done trapped it out and West Coasted out, and it was insane. And so now that you're building your brand, you're DJ Dents on these streets, in these LA streets, it's not easy to be a LA brand and get all love. And so what was your relationship with other DJs? Were you getting haters, and what was your relationship with promoters? Were they fucking you on money? Because that was the big thing at the time. It was like you had scandalous ass promoters and you had DJs that were stepping on you because they wanted their name to be hot. It was a big civil type of war and camaraderie out here when it came to making this money. What was your experience like in that climate?
Obviously, just like with anybody, to hit you tough, because it's just, you know, you're in your lane of work. Whatever your lane of work is, there's always going to be somebody that's willing to do it for a less amount, you know. And then you have to sit back and you have to look at your worth, and you have to sit there and go, okay, I remember I raised my price on a promoter one time, and he was like, what? Like, who do you think you are? And blah, blah, blah. And I'm going, the same dude that's been rocking your club for this long. I'm not turning heads. I'm not turning people away. Oh, I can get so-and-so to do it for drink tickets and you know, and 10 guests. Do that then. Do it. And it hurts so bad, bro, for me to go and not argue. Like, I stated my claim, and I could get so-and-so to do it. And at the time, I started hearing a buzz about so-and-so. And I'm like, okay, I know where this is going. All right, cool. Get him then. I'm gonna go do something else. I got called that night, and literally I was at the house chilling. Already in my feelings, like, man, blah, blah, blah. I know this party ain't gonna go right. Da, 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 this and that. Phone rang. It was that promoter. Yo, so-and-so didn't show up. I need you to, I was like, I told you, Like I'm busy. Like I have another event to do. I slept like a baby that night because he's stressed. And I still don't know to this day who he got, how he got, but I know the dude that he chose to choose over me didn't show up. And then when he came to me the next time, I was like, well, you know, it's going to run you. He's like, yeah, whatever. I just need you in here and all that stuff. And then I was like, you know what? Like, nah, I'm good. Because you're going to end up doing this again. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I'm good. Like, we should just break this tie here. Like, let's just be done with it. I'm gonna go ahead and do what I gotta do. And then I started promoting myself some more. And I was already doing other things. So it wasn't like this was a make or break, but this was showing my worth and knowing my worth. And I was like, you know what? I'm done with this. So now let me broaden my horizon, because you got to think, us as DJs, or you and, you know, whoever it is in a job setting, you're in that job setting. This is the brand that you work for. This is who you work with. These are the elements that are in this circle. There's nothing outside of this circle. It's all this. So you're trying to dominate this circle. Once you dominate that circle, then what's next? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like when I got to Clippers and things like that, it was like, oh, like, yo, I could play Quiet Riot in here. I could play, you know, I could play Seven Nation Army. I could play blah, blah, blah. And I'm going, this is all music I knew about, but then I was so boxed into this, thinking that this was my life. When I already had the idea of all this other music, I just had to know that it was now time to unlock that door and really speak to everybody as opposed to one person. So you said, like, a little while ago, there's people that know, like, okay, well, this is going to be there. And just like with anything, bro, like when I go to set up, if people don't know me, we're already getting flagged. Like, you know, you get the people that come up and go, are we going to have some good music today? I hope so. Don't necessarily know what you want, but I'm going to figure it out before this night is up, guaranteed. Right. You know what I'm saying? And then, boom, you hit them with something and they go, oh, you know about, it's like, yeah, don't judge the book by its cover. Right. You know what I'm saying? And from that point, it's like, once you realize that it's you that holds yourself back, once you unlock that door, shit, there's no stopping. There's no stopping.
And your trajectory it flew. And what about the other DJs? What was your relationship with other DJs? Were they hating on the DJ Dance brand?
They were hating in the beginning, and some still hate to this day.
And what does that look? And at the time, what does the hate look like in that time?
Oh, I could do this. He don't know the so-and-so music. He don't, you know, he's playing this when he should be playing that. He don't have blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, well, there's a part of me and my crew going, he ain't got his own equipment. He ain't reliable. His equipment keeps crashing. His da-da-da-da. So it's just like, yeah. Okay, well, I'm gonna just stand on my own. You know what I'm saying? Like, but the hate is real with anything you do, man. You have those DJs that are just like, I could do that. Yeah. I got, you know, even when we first got Serato, I got Jazzy Jeff's library, you know, on hard drive. But do you know the music, bro?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows the hits that are played now. I had a DJ, I'm not naming no names. We used to do this club. We used to do the Sharks Club back in the day, 1,200 strong every night, or not every night, but every night that we did it, and it was weekly. And I would get different DJs to open up for me. This one DJ decided at 9 o'clock, I think we opened at 8:30, like 9 o'clock, he was already into the 12:30, 1 o'clock mix. Like, he was already hitting all the hits. So people were coming in like, yo, that's my shit. Oh shit, that's my shit. Yeah. 10 o'clock comes. Now he's like, okay, I'm gonna do this and that. And he's not getting the same response or whatever. Then he starts going back into some more hits. All the stuff that I'm gonna start playing at the 11, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock to just send him home on a high note, right? And he's just like, yeah. All right, Den's about to get on in about 45 minutes, but I'm gonna hit y'all with this. Boom. So now he's starting his set over again. And these are for the people that just got there maybe 30 minutes ago or whatever. So they're like, oh, this kid is God. Like he's banging everything. I walk up, he's like, yeah, you ready to get on? I was like, no, not yet. I'm going back to the bar. I had my boys with me. We had some females, but it's like just like our crew. And I was like, let's go to the bar. Like I'm buying. It's like, okay, cool. We were at the bar for like 20 minutes. And I could see dude up at the thing like shit, like somebody go get dense. Like I'm done. Like I ain't got nothing else or whatever.
Right.
He was like, yo, you ready to get on? I was like, oh, let me get my laptop. I was like, left it in the car. I was like, I'll be right back. You know what I'm saying? And he's struggling. So I listened the whole time, you know, because I knew it was just like, oh, you want to outdo me before I jump on. It's like, it's cool. Like the hate happens. Everybody's cool. That's fine. Man, I got on, and just like the DJ did for me in Atlanta, it wasn't a hating thing. It was just, I played everything he forgot to play in a way that had he played it in the beginning, would have erupted the same way. But I had him erupt off of stuff that was 3, 4, 5 years old that they remembered. And I took them down the old memory lanes. Oh. When the lights came on, they were like, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he looked at me like, yo, I didn't even think. I was like, we're not gonna have this conversation right now. Like I'm already 4 in. Like we're not having this conversation. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to eat. We going to Tommy's. Like I'm not having this conversation with you. But I never work with dude again because he purposely had it out for me. You know what I mean?
And that's the things that you have to navigate. So you're navigating promoters, you're navigating other DJs. And to be out here in LA it's a different experience when you're doing the clubs. At a certain point, there was a lot of violence at clubs out here in LA. There was a lot of shootings, there's a lot of gang banging, and you were in a lot of different neighborhoods out here. And for you to come out there,
yes, I was. Go ahead.
We've had some experience together at these clubs, man. Tell me some of the experience where it's all turned up, or when it goes left or it goes right. And you were one of the few DJs that I noticed that knew how to make sure if the situation was getting crazy, you knew either how to calm it down or dead it completely. What was your experience out here with the craziness of living in LA, gangbang culture, and being the center of attention at these parties? And do you remember any specific experiences that you had to dodge?
First of all, let's put it out there. I've been at events where people have died, been shot, killed. I've been at events where there's been fights, and fights that happen from doors. Doors are at 9, the fight is at 9:15, the party's over, and there's yellow tape. And I'm looking for the promoter because I still want to get paid. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, sheesh. I'm gonna put it out there. I've had events where like you said, okay, so let's take it back. So like you said, people that saw my name on the flyer knew that the party was gonna be cracking. Like I've heard it enough to now accept this conversation. You understand what I'm saying? I've never been the one to go, oh, I'm gonna be there. Like, you know what's up. Like if you know, like, you know me, I've never been like, yo, because I'm on that flyer, it's gonna be cracking, whatever. But after looking at things and the way they flowed, the things that you're saying, I now understand, and I now believe, like, yeah, it was, you put my name on the flyer, that means people were gonna be there, which meant in their eyes, it was gonna be cracking, right? Meaning it was gonna be to capacity. It was gonna be, you know, all walks of life there. It was gonna be, you know, people ready to party, whatever. But then it gets in the hand of the wrong person, you know, the wrong hood or whatever, and they go, oh, well, shit, Dent's gonna be there, so we going. We coming out with wallets, pockets, shoes, hats, cars, whatever it may be, you know. And again, I didn't start finding that stuff out till later. But I've been at events where I got word that a hood was gonna be there, deep or whatever. And then I found out who it was, and I had a rapport with a couple of hoods, meaning I go in and I've known some of these littles, some of these YGs that were coming up, and it's just like they be loaded at the door, and I'd be at the front going, you know, this is my event. And they go, oh, all right, hey, like, not the words of turn down, but just like, nope, not here. We can't do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, we going in to party, we going in to do this and that. And I go, you know what? Give me your ID, and I want 2 of your other boys' IDs. Like, I don't want to show them. I said, I want them for myself. Because I know if something happens, I know it was y'all. You know what I mean? So we had those conversations, like, so then I got that respect of, on those days that I did that, to the kids, I call them kids, to the kids that I knew growing up, they were like, yo, and if there was a fight, they would help put the fight out. They would help, like, no, not here.
Right.
Like, we're not doing that today.
Right.
So I saw that respect and was like, yo, like, this is dope. Like, thank y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, if y'all want to come to something else, like, I got y'all. I just need to know that you're not going to make me look stupid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, my main thing was like, bro, don't make me look stupid if I'm letting you in here.
Right.
Because there's a lot of people out here that don't want y'all. There's a lot of people in here that are scared of y'all. But I'm telling you, like, look, like, we go back. Like, bro, I know your moms. I know your sister. I know your brother. I know your family. Like, let's not do that today. You know what I mean? So,
and that's what I noticed, and that's what I definitely know. And when you're having these conversations now you're in mode of being an artist. Are you cognizant of the music that you're playing? Because I know, like, there's affiliated music. You can play the Dog Pound, you can play the Quicks. And every song has in LA has an affiliation to a set degree. So how do you navigate that?
I mean, let's just be clear. A hit is a hit. Let's take the first Bangin' on Wax album. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's like you start looking and you go, ooh, I shouldn't play this, but this song is hot. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is, ooh, they might get mad. Like, you know, it's like, hey, is it all right? Like, they go, nah, yeah, he killed our side. Like, yeah, let's just go ahead and run that. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. Or like, you think about Dog Pound, you think about Quick, you think about your area where you are, you think about, there's going to be consequences sometime. If I go down the whole rabbit hole of just a Quick set for an hour, something's going to happen.
Right.
If I play nothing but Snoop and Dog Pound stuff for an hour, something's going to happen. You know, too much West Coast, something's going to happen. You know what I mean? So you got to know when to get in, get out, get in, get out. And it's all off of what you've done in the past and what you've seen, where, you know, it's like, I've known from backyard parties, if I played more bounce at the old parties in the 90s, that was just like playing, like, Down for My Niggas from, you know, See Murder and all that. Like, it was like, yo, like, it brought hands up, it brought signals up, it brought all that stuff. So you go, yeah, this ain't the party for that. You know what I'm saying? And this ain't the party for that. Oh, they might like one or two, but let's not get anybody hurt.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I never did it on purpose to go, oh yeah, I see this dude over here, I see this dude, watch this, boom, and watch what happens. Like, no, it's never been nothing like that.
Right.
But again, you don't know unless it's happened, or you get word of mouth, like, yo, I played this last night and I ain't gonna never play it again. You know what I'm saying? There's some songs that you just never play again.
Yeah, and the thing is, you had it down to a science. You already knew. You'd be like, if I wanted to end the party right now, we can end the party. Oh
yeah, absolutely.
Because I remember those conversations too.
Hey, look, y'all ready to go home? But no, it's one of the things where you go, nah, this wouldn't end right because I'm in the exit. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're gonna come this way. You know what I mean? But then you have those fights that just ain't got nothing to do with you. They were gonna fight anyway. You know, and the DJ booth has always been the open door policy. Come hang out with me because no one's shooting my way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not true. Bullets have no eyes, bro. Like, you know what I mean? But they come like, oh, we standing next to the DJ. I'm like, no, but they might have been shooting at you. Get away from me, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's the thing that's so different, because now, you know, you're in this space where, you know, you've navigated that. What was your relationship with the women now that you're a brand? You're women know you? What was that like being like a popular DJ out here in LA? What was the how?
And when you mean relations, like what are you referring to? Just so
I'm referring like what does your social life look like now that you're a known DJ in LA?
Like DJs were sought after, and because they wanted to get in, they wanted to get into the club. So you can say, oh yeah, this girl liked me, this girl, you know, that person, oh yeah, she wanted to date me. Well, she just wanted to get into Friday. She wanted to get into Saturday. She didn't want to have to deal with a line. She didn't want to have to buy drinks. She didn't want to have to, not all, but at that time, a good 85, 90%
right
is what it was. Then you had those real ones that held you down, that just kept it a buck, kept it 100. Like, look, like this is what it is, whether you're dense or not. You know what I'm saying? Like it's you. Like, okay, when the event's over, I want to hear about it. What made you smile? What made you laugh? What made you, you know what I'm saying? What didn't you like about the night? What could you change? You know what I'm saying? You go, oh well, shit, like there's real people out there. You know what I'm saying? But again, you have the ones that are calling up, you know, to the radio station or whatever. Oh, I was at Dennis's club last night. Oh, he had it rocking. Oh, he's so cute, or whatever. Or oh, my cousin said he likes you, or she likes you, and da 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 da. It's just like, okay, cool. Who's your cousin? You know, and you just start falling into that for a second, but then it's like, once you realize it was the name, it was the brand, or whatever, then it's like, all right, well, is what it is, part of the territory. But then once you start to hunker down and start working on yourself and all that stuff, then you realize what some of them were there for and what the one is there for. You know what I mean?
Right. And that makes a huge difference too. And so you become more grounded because you know who's authentically there for you, and you know who's about that, you know, trying to get in. And then you created something called the Firm family, right? And that was a team of your DJs. How did that come about? And I didn't even ask you the most basic question. How did you come up with your name, DJ Dance, and then the Firm? All
right, what are we talking about first?
Then your name, and then how the Firm come about?
The name came about in high school. Shout out to St. Bernard. Shout out to Westchester too. Went there too, but religion credits didn't transfer over, so I had to come back and graduate at Bernard's. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You prayed on it, it didn't work out.
You know what I'm saying? Hey man, I had to make sure that I didn't lose. I don't even know how many credits it was. It was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna go ahead and graduate over here. But shout out to the Comets. But anyway, no, I got my name, bro, in high school on some fluke. It was so going into into Bernard's, like Catholic school. It's a Catholic school, so they have a religion class, but they can't really like drill it into Catholicism or any religion in general, just because it's a choice. Yes, you're at a high school, a high school, and there's a brand there. Meaning, when I say brand, meaning there's a religion, it's Catholicism. So it's like, okay, well, these are our teachings. Are you going to get that question wrong and fail the class? No, because you have your own belief. You know what I'm saying? So in that class, being born and raised Catholic, it's just like, okay, I realized that class, no disrespect to Berners, but that was a class that I could do other homework in. I could do other things in. So I literally get my desk, turn it, face it to the corner, literally put my desk in the corner and do my homework for the next couple of classes. I would study for the test the next period, whatever it may be, because I was doing whatever the hell, Nintendo, Excite Bike. I don't know what the hell I was doing at home, but homework was just not it. So I would use that class to do what I wanted to do. So in there, our teacher, Mr. Sanderson, and I'm not great with names, but bro, like people that stand out, things that stand out, like it's amazing. But our teacher, Mr. Sanderson, our religion teacher, wanted to be one of those hip teachers, cool. You know, like the teachers now that are doing all the different handshakes with the kids when they walk in.
Right.
He wanted to have everybody have a nickname. So it was just like he's going around, blah, 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 doing stuff. And so every time there was a question that went on in the class, I would say some old, dumb, funny shit. Like I was I was like you, like a little comedian in class. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure you were the same way in high school. You know what I'm saying? Like cracking jokes and shit like that. Like shit just wasn't as serious as we needed it to be. You know what I mean? So you say something, whatever. And so I say some silly shit, and they're like, "Oh, that's crazy. That's goofy. That's silly. Blah 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 blah." Oh, he's, you know. And since I was in the corner, they were like, "Oh, we're calling him Dunce." Da da da. I was like, "Oh, hell no! Ain't nobody calling me Dunce." Like Dunce was the cartoon hat in the corner, like
looking crazy. Yeah.
I was like, nah, 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 nah. And there's this one girl was like, he's just being dense, whatever. I was like, yeah, whatever, cool. Doing my work. Next day, we're at the class, da, 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 and he's doing roll call. And it got to me last, and they were like, what's his name again? They were like, oh, she said dense. And it was like, yeah, here, present, cool. Then in the hallway, it was just like, look, there go dense, there go dense. Yeah, whatever. I'm on my way to math class, but I got my homework done. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, got it done, whatever. And so Dent stuck in the hallways. And then when it came time for that Oktoberfest and all that, I was looking for a name. And so it was just like, okay, well, music by DJ Dents. And then it just started to grow from the class to the school, from the school to outside the school. And it, you know, my pops was like, Dents, what the fuck? Like, he was like, ain't no professional gonna call you to do their wedding and have to ask for Dents. Ain't nobody gonna have to blah, blah, blah. Ain't nobody gonna, like, you're degrading yourself. And I was like, look, man, like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's working right now.
Right.
Like, before it was just gonna be like DJ Kenji, like my last name. It was just like, which might be fire now.
Yeah, after Wakanda Forever, like, yeah, that's a vibe.
Right.
Yeah.
It might be fire now, but back then I was like, yeah, no, like, I'm just gonna run with this, and that's just what it's gonna be. So I did it, and it lasted past high school, clearly. I remember those awkward conversations of people calling. My boss from the Clippers was just like, is there a DJ there? And I was like, this is he. I said, Dents. She said, is that your name? I said, yes. She was like, okay, I just wanted to be sure. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, it took her a long time to call me Dents. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, that was a moment in itself of learning my name. I tried to flip it, finagle it, like, okay, or finesse it, like, oh, you know, it stands for devastating, everlasting, nonstop entertainment. Like, as a DJ, I was like, ooh, I got the whole, what is it, acronym? I got the whole acronym for it.
Yeah, that sounds like you came up with that today.
Yeah, and so then I was, no, I didn't, because for the ladies, it was devastating, everlasting, nonstop enjoyment.
That was your porn DJ.
Yeah. So I was thicker than fog before I was thicker than fog. You feel me? But yeah. So anyway, and remind me about that story. That story is genius. But yeah. So that's how I got Dents, and then it just stayed. I had enough on flyers and business cards where I was like, I'm in it. I don't know where it's going, but this is how people are gonna find me. You know what I mean?
And that was the thing. And then your tag was thicker than fog.
Well, before you go to that, you said you had two things.
So we'll go thicker than fog, pause, and then we'll go to Firm Fam.
Okay, all right, cool. Glad you put the pause in there. So do you know where the thicker than fog came from?
I have no idea. The only reason I even know about it was because they would tag it on the radio. So they'd be like, DJ Dents, thicker than fog.
Not that. You know who started that? Well, no, I won't say you know who started that. So let me tell you where the name came from, but then I'll tell you where the household sound came from, and you probably know that part.
Okay.
But DJ Dents Thicker Than Fog came from Outkast. So I started with the beat. I was doing Dominic DePrima's shit. I'm so sorry, Dominic. Street Science. Mm-hmm. And then I got called. I got a note. I remember I was going on my annual vacation to Mexico, and that's when Frank Key. You remember Frank Key?
That's my guy, Frank Key.
Yeah,
Frank. Yeah.
So I remember. So he was in the community action department listening to my mixtape from Sam's party. that was in community action.
Right.
So
and so
I
for
did
the
a
audience, like these are all people that worked at the Beat in the
yeah.
community department we were all from the community.
Yeah.
Basically.
So y'all were in that area. She had her own department, and Frank was listening to a mixtape of mine. And I remember Hegwood, our old program director, walked by and was like, no, Dorsey walked by. Dorsey was our music director, walked by and was like, yo, what you listening to? Like, because the station you hear in the ceilings, you know what I'm saying? Because the radio station, all throughout the station, you can hear the radio station in the ceiling. That's why you don't miss a break. You can hear your commercials and all that. And he's like, what are you listening to? He's like, oh, I'm listening to my boy DJ Dents. He's like, yo, like he's hitting all this stuff. Like, what is that? He's like, oh, it was a mixtape. I recorded a party I did for Sam, which was in community action with Frank and Dominique and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So I had I was recording the party. He was like, yo, dude is killing it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he heard me on the mic and all that stuff. He was like, where's he at? He was like, oh, well, he's in Mexico, blah, blah, blah. Right now, he's like, damn, like, we need a mixer for this Saturday. And he was like, can you get a hold of him? And he was like, I'll try. Bro, Frank called my parents. My parents called the resort. This is when it wasn't free to call the 1-800 numbers. Right. This was before. This is when email was just like starting to be heavy, or not even heavy, but just starting out, and you didn't know about the HTML ... www. Like it was like everything had to be just right.
Right.
And I was just looking at that. I still have the letter that was slid under my door. Like, yo, like Frank was like, bro, I told you he was gonna pop, blah, blah, blah. Like, you need to get home, blah, blah, blah. They want you here this Saturday. Bro, I pieced out everybody in Mexico, took the next flight out and came home and started that Saturday. And so anyway, I know I went around, but you asked how I got the DJ Dents Sticking in Fog. So there was a drop sheet, you know, that goes around the radio station. So the drop sheet, for those that don't know, is one of those things where you hear, hey, this is Alicia Keys and happy holidays from whatever station it is, you know, hey, what's up? This is John Legend, blah, blah, blah. Or, hey, what's up? This is Tyga, you know, wishing you a very Merry Christmas and blah, blah, blah. So there's a drop sheet that goes along. So when they come through, they can do taglines that our production assistants and production people can put to a promo later. Then there's a DJ page. Shout out to RIP, shout out to DJ Hideo. Shout out to who was dude that was doing the 5 o'clock mix before me? Joe. What was his name? He was with Theo. He was with
Joe Grande. No, not Joe Grande. It was I know who you're talking about. I just can't remember the name off.
Yeah. So anyway, it's a whole list of folks: Icy Ice, Curse, Mello, Julio G, everybody that's on the station. And so Outkast was cutting breaks or cutting drops, and it's just like they're saying it's repetitious. Yo, what up? This is Andre 3000. Yo, what up? This so and so. Blah blah blah. You chilling in the mix with so and so. Yo, what up? And then the next one started. Yo, what's up? This is Big Boy. Yo, what's up? Andre 3000. Da, da, da. So then they got to mine. And they were like, okay, what is this? Dense, like thick fog, like, and that's when we had Brian Apple in the production thing. He was like, yeah, however you want to say it, like, yeah, like I guess like thick fog or whatever. So they were like, all right, yo, what up? This Andre 3000. Yo, what up? This Big Boy. We Outkast. Blah blah blah. We chilling with our homeboy DJ Dents. That's right, DJ Dents. Thicker than fog. Can't see through him. Da 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 da. On 100.3 The Beat. Outkast, yeah. And I heard that and was like, holy shit. I have a tagline. And so from that point, my now drop sheet says DJ Dents, in parentheses, thicker than fog. So I got Alicia Keys. I got Ashanti. I have RIP. I got Aaliyah. I got Mary J. Blige. I got Sean Paul. I got Joe, I got the Hot Boys, Wayne, Jeezy, I got like Luda. Everybody's like, now everybody wants to say thicker than fog, thicker than fog, thicker than fog. But the one that everybody knows, whether the drop is from Luda, Outkast, Janet, whoever it may be, everybody knows the moan. Oh, DJ Dense, thicker than fog, baby.
Right.
That was Sam that was in community action. And she always said that she'll tell you to this day, she was like, I had to get fired for you to get hired, but I had to leave you with something. And that something still stays with me to this day because I get adults. We're adults.
Right.
But I consider the other ones that are older than us adults.
Right.
I get them going, DJ Dense, thicker than fog, baby. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. They go, yo, I remember you from blah, 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 blah. And now you on blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah. And they were like, I'll never forget that drop because we'd be in the car with our kids and, you know, and it would go on. And then the kids in the background going, oh, DJ Dense, thicker than fog. And I'm like, oh, shit. Like, what is going on? So, yeah, Sam was the one that blessed me with the moan, and it's called Girl Moan. It's the moan DJ Dense. So even when I left the beat and then I went over to K-Day, I took it over there because there was no tag. It was just, there was no station identification. It was just my name.
Right.
And then I remember going to KJLH and then I had them produce something where it starts off with the normal, oh, DJ Dense thicker than fog, but it's like that moan. And then you hear the KJLH guy go, whoa, he's like, hold on. Like, I know exactly who you're talking about. Like, you know, he's a staple, da, 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 da. DJ Dense, thicker than fog, blah, blah, blah. Like, so now people, I won't say now they accept it. They accepted it before. I played the shit anyway. Shout out to Adimu. We played the hell out of that. But yeah, man. So Outkast is the one that blessed me with that name. And they probably don't realize it, but they were the ones that did it, you know, and I would love to sit and talk with Andre Three Stacks about that, but he's off playing the flute somewhere. So
yeah, he's on a different wave right now. And I never knew that story, which is crazy because it was a staple. It was like the sound. And man, so
everybody, whoever you can think of that came through there, I got a yay, this Ice Cube chilling with DJ Dense. He's thicker than fog. I got Mac 10, I got Dub C, I got the Loonies, I got everything hardcore like that to Common breaking it down, rapping my name with thicker than fog in it. And I didn't even know words rhyme with fog. You know what I'm saying? But
right.
He killed it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just fire. Like I was just like, yo, like this is something definitely to remember.
No, definitely. And that's dope. And it's just because like your radio journey was incredible. And I want to get to that too. And then, so now you got the brand and now you got this team of DJs that you were working with even before you were at the radio station. Mm-hmm. What happened with that? Because it was like the Wu-Tang of DJs that you kind of started.
No, we still going strong. There's now 6 of us. It used to be 12 to like we were the early scam artists. So let's just be clear with that. When it comes, shout out to Sujit. We were the early ones, but we just didn't take it to that Vegas level and all that. I took it upon myself to create a company that basically these were people that were calling for me. I couldn't do it because I had an event or I had 2 that day and I sent it off to the company. So to me, the firm was a family of people that can all do basically the same thing. And that's rock a party, read a crowd. So for me to go, I can't do it, but my guy so-and-so can do it. This dude can do it. Nope, they can't do it. Okay, this person. And we would just go down the road, but everybody I would vouch for and everybody that couldn't do it could vouch for that person as well. But if I was like, hey, I got an event, can you do it? Nah. Okay, well, I'm gonna do it to, I'm gonna send it to so-and-so, and they go, nah, and I go, okay, I was iffy about that. So what do you think about blah, blah, blah? Yeah, he'd be a better fit for that because we know what these people want. So we were a crew and still are a crew. It's just not promoted like that anymore. It's still promoted, but it's not the forefront because I realized that in order for me to grow, because it wasn't, you know me, it wasn't about me.
Right.
It was always about the crew and all that. And then you start thinking for branding purposes that I have created a brand for myself, my name, my feel, my look, my whatever. So when people are looking for me, they're looking for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me a while to just sit back and go, well, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, I can have my crew, I can do this and that, but it's like, okay, I'm not promoting it as much as I'm promoting myself.
Right.
Does that make sense?
No, that makes
It doesn't sound selfish, but it's just one of those things where I was taught from someone else that was in that same position. It was like, hey, you know what? Like, nah, you're gonna need to, you're gonna need to really give people what they're looking for. And if they don't get you, then they're gonna have to get you for the next one. They're gonna have to adjust. They're gonna have to do this and that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And did you get any type of like animosity toward any of the folks in the firm, or
I mean,
how'd that play out?
Some people, they weren't in it for the love of what they do. It was just off of what they can do, but it wasn't their main focus. Like, you have the DJs that this is their grind. Like, this is my 9 to 5, bro. Like,
Yeah,
if I don't work, I don't eat.
yeah.
Pandemic, bruh,
That
I
was
sat. You feel me?
and were you doing mixes online?
I did a couple online. Like, I did some stuff. Like, I was doing some mixes. And this was like, I want to say D-Nice, it just kind of started. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna do some stuff. And I would set dates and people would come, and I was up to 300, 400, 500 people, 600 people in the rain. Like, I felt good because I had my iPad. I had this big ass speaker blaring because I didn't know that I could actually hook it up to the iPad itself, and it didn't have to be so fucking loud. My neighbors banging on walls. We're in a house, but I'm in the cave in the garage. And it's like, yeah, I got soundproof, but like, bro, I had it in here like it was a club. And it's 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, yo, how many nights you gonna have a party? And I'm like I'm online. You know what I'm saying? But
were you making decent bread doing that, or how was that working?
You said, was I what?
Were you making decent money? Was money coming in, or was
there
it just
no money, bro?
Yeah.
There was no money, but it was keeping my name out there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's all I got.
Right.
That's all I got. Yeah, I mean, I need to let people know that I'm not just sitting around on my ass, not doing stuff and not wanting to entertain.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I was trying to get creative with it. Like, hey, 80s, like you have your flashback Fridays, but we're only doing 80s. Mm-hmm. And then we have our blah, blah, blah Saturdays. And then you get those requests and you just start going in and you look at the comments and you just want to give people what they want. And all of a sudden somebody asks for Wham. Bro, I play Wham and the crowd but the comments go nuts. Like, oh, well, what's up with some Depeche Mode? What's up with this? What's up with that? And it's just like, let's do it all. Like, I'm here for all that. Like, let's set another date, then come in and do strictly 80s pop or pop rock or whatever. Now let's show videos. Like, I had the TV turned around and was showing videos as I'm mixing.
Right.
But IG was just like, yeah, we're going to shut you down. We got somebody else that's doing some stuff. We're going to shut you down after an hour, 45 minutes. Then I get on and, man, you play one Prince or Mike, you were shut off in the next 33 seconds. Like, it was just like, nah, like that's when you realize there's powers that be. You know what I mean?
No, it was frustrating even as me as a host. It was like there was nothing to host outside of being online, and
right.
My energy is usually a lot better in front of people. But I want to take it back to the radio side of things. So now your first experience of being on the radio was when Frank gave you the phone call. I mean, you got
I got the call. I got the email to come back, and I was 99 to start doing Saturdays with Hideo and Icy Ice and a couple of other folks.
And so you're at the beat right now. And so how does being a mixer from the streets to on the radio, how does that change? What does it do for you? And what does it do for your career? And what was your experience like at the beat?
With radio, you understand that, and anybody that's listening right now, radio, when you get into the car or when you turn on the radio, you want to hear your song. So your song has got to come up within the next, if it's not on right now, it's got to come up within the next 15, 20 minutes, or I'm changing the station. Or it's got to be something that you know. So that research right there lets you know, like, all right, I can't go as broad as I can from the club. I have to stick with what's working on radio. So I have to find ways to play the same song over and over again without you realizing you just heard that song over and over again. You know what I mean? So, which means you got to sandwich it with something else. You got to give it a different feel, different sound before it comes in. And you go, there it is. I'm listening to the same song again. You know what I mean? So, but then with radio, you have your categories. You have your hot songs. You have your recurrent songs, and these are all songs that everybody knows. Then you have your old school recurrent, which means they need to be sandwiched. And then if you want to sneak in something new from the club, something that you know, like me being in the streets, I know what's going to work. If I want to sneak in a joint, I have to now play a power song, meaning not the station, but I have to play that A song, a B song, a C old school familiar, the song I'm thinking about, but then follow the instructions again.
So it's a big math equation at this
point. It's a math equation, and if you don't follow it, that PD is on your ass, and you go home and study.
And so outside of the technical and the math equation, what about the human side of it? What was it like to just be, we take it back to where you were over there and you were in the backyard with 15 people. Now fast forward, you're on the
1.5 million at 5 o'clock.
Million. What's the response, and how are you feeling just on that level?
Watching the phone lines and hearing the calls that were coming in that were bigging me up and giving me the props from, oh, I was at his club last night, blah, 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 blah. And, he had the crowd at 10 the whole time and blah, blah, blah. And, I just heard him play X, Y, and Z. And that song right there is, the newest, hottest, blah, 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 blah. And he played it. He was first on the air. And it's just like, you never know who's on the other end of that line, bro. Like I've had situations where I was even an on-air personality, and I talked to a young lady from Suicide. I missed my whole 4-hour shift because she was my first caller. And when I say my phone was blowing up, the hotline was blowing up, everything, I happened to pick up a call and say, "The Beat, who's this?" She said her name, and we talked. And I made sure every commercial lined up the way it was supposed to, and I never let her go. Vox Pro is a recording, if for those that don't know, Vox Pro is a thing that we screen calls with. We record conversations. So if you call up to a station and you're so excited that you want tickets to Magic Mountain and you say, "Oh my God, my favorite radio station is," and you're so jumbled up that you say the wrong station, we can have you go back, edit it, come back out. So to say that, Vox Pro ran for 4 hours and 37 minutes. And I talked to her. This is when we had Robert Scorpio as the PD. He finally came into the studio irate. Like I had to buzz him in through the back. He busted through the door. I was like, I put my hand up like, and he sat here and he talked, or he sat here and he listened. And at that time, I had already been on the phone with a lady from 911 because the girl was giving me clues and all that stuff. And I was like, please, please listen to this conversation. I'm at the radio station right now. My name is blah, blah, blah. Just please listen. I need to get this girl some help. And I just put it on speakerphone. And she was talking, and she was just talking about a night she had. She was talking about how young she was when she started and how she doesn't like it, and time is up, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm over here, da, 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 and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And I just got some food. I'm sitting, you can tell she was crying. She was eating, and she was just like, yeah, boom, I have this and that at home, and I just can't go back to blah, 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 blah. And Scorpio sat down, and like he was listening to the conversation, and towards the end of that conversation, because it bled into the next person's shift, she said, "Thank you." I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Thank you." She says, "I know you're helping me." And she said, "They're here right now." She says, "So I'm going to go talk to them. They want to talk to me right now." And I said, "What are you talking?" She was like, "The police are here and they know that I'm on the phone with you." She says, "And I've just put everything down, so they're going to come and talk to me. She says, but I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. She said, I thank you 100% because I don't know what I was going to do, but I know it wasn't going to be good. Bro, when I tell you, I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. I missed a whole shift to make sure that I was attentive. So to say that is when you're saying going from the clubs and doing stuff in the streets, and you get on the radio, like, how's that? Like, you never know who's on the other end of that dial. You don't know what their day is like. I don't know what the day is like when they come into the arena. I don't know what the day is like when I'm at a club or at a party or whatever. But if I have time to connect with you one-on-one, I'm going to do it.
Right.
I've never been selfish where, oh, no, I can't. Like, no. Even the people that hold up the phone and say Bad Bunny all the time want to hear that shit. I'll acknowledge you. You know what I'm saying? But again, I didn't hear from her anymore, but I know that they were there because the lady was on the phone with me, and so was the person that I was talking to, meaning the lady that was from 911, as well as the lady I was actually on the phone with.
Right.
So I did what I thought was right.
And you saved a life. And that was, impactful. And it just goes to show of just like when you become the centerpiece to just a group of people and people come to you, then your role changes. You're not just a DJ anymore. You're something else, and you're a beacon of light, so to speak, and a way of hope and a source of communication to somebody that probably doesn't have that way of talking to somebody.
Right.
And so now you have the weight of this, and now you're a DJ. Then you transition to being on air. How does that happen?
Another thing of Dum Dum raised his hand and said I could do it. I remember Scorp was like, hey, we're looking for on-air jocks for the holiday. If anybody knows anybody. And I was like, raise my hand. He was like, you want to try it? I was like, yeah. He's like, all right, I'm gonna have you record everything first, but I think you'd be a good fit because he's heard me at clubs and all that stuff. So it's like, all right, for the holiday, why not bring a little club feel? Why not bring that unseasoned guy that's gonna hit the post every time, meaning talk right up to the song start, or talk at the very end of the last, and then talk into the next break. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get somebody in here and let's get him going. So I said I'd do it. And it was Thanksgiving. It was at Thanksgiving holiday. And he was like, good luck. And I was like, okay, thanks. He said, I'm gonna have you record. He says, no pressure, but I'm gonna have LL Cool J call up. And this was after LL had just lost all the weight and did this is for my number, like did the iron, like he was pumped up and all that shit, right? They're like, oh yeah, this is the only time he has a call is on Saturday morning at 7 a.m. So I want you to interview him. Like, what the fuck? Like, interview LL Cool J, bro. Like, an icon in his own mind and in our minds. I don't know nothing about interviewing nobody, but I'm cussing and saying some dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? So they were like, no, just interview him, but don't run it yet. But let people know that you have LL Cool J that's calling in, because this is when you don't realize that when radio says they're calling in, they're calling in. You know what I'm saying? And then you could give them a date like, hey, tune in at blah, 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 and we're going to run the interview, or we're going to have LL in the studio. So you make it sound like he's in the studio or on the phone live. So did the interview, and Tawala, our program assistant, came in and listened to the interview and was like, all right, well, we're going to cut you out and you're going to punch in the conversations that he's talking about, because right now you're asking your stuff, but you're not listening to his answers. You're not following back with what he's talking about. You're just moving to the next thing. So he says, I want this to flow. I want this to flow. So sure enough, we set the date saying 10 o'clock, LL's calling up, ran that shit. I still have the DAT at the house, at mom and pop's house, when I did that first interview. So it was like my first time cracking a mic, was all Vox Pro. And it was, my first thing was interviewing LL Cool J. And from that point, Scorp, our pre-D, was like, all right, you're done with Vox Pro. I want to hear you live. And the mistakes started happening. He's like, it's fine. And then I remember Julio G was going, Dance, you're not a robot, bro. Like, people want to hear mistakes. They want to know you're human. And you know how Julio talks. He's like, bro, like, fuck it, bro. Like they're gonna love it, man. Just be you. And I'm like, okay. And so I've been me, and people love it.
And yeah, you've always had that authentic vibe to you, which was dope. Is there any memories at the beat that really stand out to you?
Yeah, leaving there, going to K-Day.
And what happened? Did you get fired from the beat? What happened?
No. No.
That's usually everybody's story.
No. What happened was the station flipped.
Okay.
And we got the word. We had a breakfast. We had a breakfast on Thursday morning.
Uh-oh.
They called everybody in. This was the beat. We had just hired Free from 106 in Park.
Yeah, I remember that.
And this was like Free's second week. And so she couldn't make the breakfast because we had our show later on that afternoon. And we had Chef G. Garvin there, which is an immaculate African-American chef. We had champagne, we had gifts, we had all kind of shit. They're like, oh yeah, everybody eat. We're sitting there, omelets. It's 9 a.m. We eating, we drinking. And Kathy Hughes didn't know anything about this, but I think it was her brother. It was her brother, right? And her right hand. They were like, oh yeah, as of midnight, we're flipping the station. We're no longer hip hop. We're going to compete against KJLH. And the place went, huh? Like, yeah, they were like, oh, we're tired of competing with Power and all that. We're going to go after KJLH. So no more hip hop after midnight. We're like, what the fuck you mean?
That omelet tastes different, didn't it?
Omelet was different. The champagne lost the bubbles. The buzz was hella weird. And everybody's like, what the hell? Like, what do we do? And sure enough, as of midnight, that shit changed. So I was like, bro, like, what the fuck am I gonna do? What the hell am I gonna do? And I remember talking to Monaco, which is a lady that was back in finance. Was she in finance? She was like, yeah, you know, yeah. She was like, you know, your boy's over at K-Day. I'm like, oh, I know, Julio's over there. She's like, no. She was like, Hegwood. And Hegwood was the guy that hired me at the beat.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, word? She was like, yeah. She was like, I've been telling everybody, you better go. You better go. And I'm like, you know. So I had a manager at the time. I was like, man, call over to K-Day and see what's up. And my manager was like, he called, got Hegwood on the phone. He says, yeah, man. He said, I'm calling on my client. It's like, and Hegwood is straightforward. Who the fuck is your client? It was like, DJ Dents. He said, well, tell him to come start work. He was like, huh? He was like, tell him to come start work. He was like, hold on 1 second. I'm gonna put him on three-way. He was like, Dents, like, what's up? He's like, you want to work? I said, yeah. I was like, he said, well, come work then. I'm like, hey man, I gotta get my 2 weeks. He said, call me on my cell. Here's my cell. Boom. Called him on the cell. He said, they're not gonna give you 2 weeks. He said, that station's going in the hole. They're not gonna give you 2 weeks. Come on now. I was like, it's Tuesday. I said, can I give him till Friday? He was like, you can give him till Friday, but I want you on Friday. I'm like, okay. So this is Tuesday. I sent him my note on Wednesday. And the guy that's there, I'm not going to give his name because I still don't like that dude. He was like, hey, man, so you're leaving, huh? This is your notice? I said, yeah. He says, all right, so you give me 2 weeks? I said, no, I'm giving you till Friday. He says, you can't do that. You're going to burn all kind of bridges. I was like, I was told I wouldn't. I was told that I'd be in an okay place. So Friday is going to be my last day. He says, no, we need to talk about this. Let's go to management. Let's see if we can raise your pay and all that. I said, we can try that. You know, so Thursday came, went and talked to, damn, who was her name? What was her name? That was over Monaco. What was her name? Shit. Sharon.
Yeah.
Talked to Sharon. And she was just like, we can't offer anymore. We can't do anything. So she knew that I was out. She's like, we can't really do anything else for you, Dance, blah, 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 blah. So if you need to leave, like, I understand. And I was like, okay. So that, to me, that was like, all right, I got my blessing because she'd always looked out for me. Monaco did the head nod. And then my PD was like, no, man, like, this is now Thursday. He's like, come on in. let's talk. I got something for you on Friday, X, Y, and Z. I was like, okay. Went in on Friday, did my show from 4. They cut my time. My time was usually 4. My time used to be 5 to 6. He moved me from 4 to 5 to try and catch the early birds getting off of work. Then it dropped to 4 to 4:30. So I was only going in for 30 minutes. When my shift was over, he says, all right, come on, sit in my office. He says, let's talk. I was like, no, I'm out. Like, I'm done.
Right.
He was like, oh, he's like, you're serious? I was like, yeah. I said, I gave you the note. He's like, I'm gonna have to walk you out. I was like, no, you're not. I said, I know everybody here. I said, I'm gonna start at the front. I'm gonna make my way back. And I said, I'm out of here. I said, you owe me that. I went to the front desk, said goodbye, went to Max, said goodbye, worked my way to Sue, said goodbye, worked all the way through sales, hit the, the PD's area and all that stuff, walked out on my own, sat in the parking lot and was like, the fuck did I just do? Now, mind you, I got off at 4:30. It's now 4:45, 4:50. I'm sitting in the parking lot and they're waiting on me at 5:15 over at K-Day. Got over to K-Day. They opened the door for me to bring my stuff in, brought in my turntables. 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I walk into the studio. Julio G goes, hold on. Hell no. Where's my dump button? He was like, hell no. He's like, damn it. DJ Dents is, no. He said, is this who I think it is standing in front of me? And I was like, yep. He's like, no. Pull up the microphone. He's like, if I'm not mistaken, you just did a show right down the street on 100.3. I don't know what they are now. He's like, but you just did a show from 4 to 4:30. And I was like, yeah. He was like, tell him who your name is. I was like, I'm DJ Dents. He said, say it again. DJ Dents. He said, are you going to mix with me right now? I was like, if you allow me to. Bro, I was on within 15 minutes of talking to him.
That's crazy.
Same day, 2 radio stations. First person in LA to get off of one station and go to the next station the same day and be on air and have that longevity over at K-Day for 10 years.
Yeah, man. And the thing is, with you, it didn't feel like there was any bad blood, no bad energy. And
I didn't have any.
And so you're at K-Day now.
My phone was blowing up. Everybody from over at the beat was like, you didn't tell us you were going over there. Like, congrats, bro. And people are like, I just heard you over here. So
and just to give context, like the internet wasn't like that. So everybody's listening to the airwaves
in their car.
And they know what's happening. Now you're at K-Day.
Yep.
The energy is crazy. We had some good times at K-Day. Club 740, shout out to that.
Keith Wax, what up, boy?
Keith Wax. And so we're having celebrities. We're having all kinds of people.
We had Bill Cosby. We had, who else do we have?
We had everybody. Keisha Cole, Lamar. Like Lakers would literally go there, party, and lose the game the next day. Like it was like, oh my God, 740 was a vibe. It was a vibe. And so you go from K-Day and then you get to KJLH. How does that happen?
K-Day was like on some, they were about to be sold. Everybody's scrambling, trying to figure out what they were going to do. Because we were getting word that some overseas company was going to buy it and flip it. And it was just like, okay. I remember we had a Crush Groove or one of those events. After that, it was just like, it was dark. We were going in, like, I was doing afternoons with my boy Classic, but I had to be there at like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and we didn't do our show until 3. And it was just, the communication was weird. Like it just got weird.
It was a very weird. I remember one time you were even bored out. It was a show called Gospel Tracks, and it was one of those gospel shows, and you would be there by yourself, and I would come in probably like an hour later.
Yeah.
And you didn't know what was happening. So I would always just be over there just to say what's up with you, just to get there early and just clown.
Yeah.
One day I walk in and I'm thinking the CD is just because it's all pre-recorded and you just kind of run the board or whatever. So I walk in one day and I'm like, what up, man? And I'm loud as hell. And then I see some people in there, because my eyes are closed when I'm saying
Right. Oh, the people behind us. Yeah.
And Marvin Sapp was in there with you. And I was like, oh, praise Jesus. Let me get up out of here.
Wow.
That's just how we greet. And I had to do back. And so,
and if you didn't do that, I never would have made it.
Never would have made it. I was like, I was for sure knowing I was going to hell that day.
Right.
So it was just crazy at K. You didn't know what was happening. So you transition, and then what happens?
Yeah, so it was a thing of like, oh man, I was just like, maybe I'm just done with the radio thing and all that stuff. And I remember Dre over at KJLH has always been like, man, he says, I've been listening to you for years at the radio. Like while he's at KJLH, he's been listening to me and watching my progress. And he was like, come home, man. I was like, huh? He's like, come home. He says, I ain't got nothing for you right now. He says, but I want you. He said, I want you on our station. He says, I'm going to find something for you. He says, and I'm going to work around your schedule. He says, I know you getting hit with the, since you have the Clippers stuff, like, because, you know, where I was, they didn't care about the Clippers. You know what I'm saying? They didn't care. It wasn't a championship team. It wasn't something that I could leave work for to go do an event. And they got tired of the whole me trying to do live hits from the event or from Staples at the time. Like, yo, it's Dennis, I'm over here at Staples because it was before doors open. Like, what I'm gonna talk about? You know what I'm saying? So they got tired of that shit. So KJLH was like, hey man, I'm gonna respect your schedule. I'm gonna respect your grind. You coming home? And I was like, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? So from that point, he was like, let's start you off. Let's do Saturdays. He says, I'm gonna just get you in here to start filling in for some people. He says, and you know, whatever you need, like we're here. I'm like, hey man, I can't make this weekend. He's like, don't worry about it. We'll get somebody else. Like, don't trip. He was like, we're just happy you're here. He said, because your name is helping us. And I was like, what? Like, wow. That's when you realize, like, damn, like, I've been busting my ass all this time and like somebody really cares. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody really cares. So it was dope, man. It was dope. And like, no, I'm not on every day, but they respect my grind. They respect even the new PD right now. He's just like, yo, when I got here, I was told that I need to talk to you. I'm like, wow. Okay.
And so you're still at KJLH right now?
Yeah, still at KJLH right now.
No, and it's such a surreal moment because, you know, like you've been doing this since you were like 15, and KJLH is, you know, the heritage stations out here in LA. And when you're at that station and you've grown up in Los Angeles, like you grew up with the city.
Yeah.
And that's why you have such deep roots here. And that's why you're so important to not just music, but to Los Angeles. And that's what's dope. And now you're not only doing radio, but you're with the LA Clippers.
True.
And DJ. And so how did that all come about, the Clippers gig? And so just to give you to let folks know, like you're the in-arena DJ for the Los Angeles Clippers.
And host, yeah.
And host. And how did that happen?
Being like, I'd say being at the right place at the right time, but at that time, I did an event for BET at the old Home Depot Center, which is now, whatever the thing is now in Carson, the thing right there by Dominguez. They changed their name a couple of times, so I can't think of Quahog, wherever the tennis and the soccer would play for the longest. Anyway, I did an event there for BET, and it was the high school battle of the bands, televised and all that stuff. And the lady that was running it loved what I did because she loved that I didn't alienate the people that were there. So you think of high school battle of the bands, you're thinking of kids there, but who's coming to watch them? Their friends, their parents, possibly grandparents, even younger brothers, younger sisters, younger siblings, whatever it may be. So the spectrum was wide. So I played to the audience. Again, I'm in a booth and there's 17,000 people to be on TV. I didn't play any curse words. I didn't play anything derogatory. I didn't play, I didn't say anything that would offend anybody, but I basically blessed every genre that I could, that I saw. You know what I mean? And she was just like, yo, like, we love what you did here. And it just so happens that she was the main person. Let me put this pen down. She's the main person in charge of entertainment for the Clippers. And I got a call that next day, like, hey, thank you, you did such a great job. I'm like, oh, cool, appreciate it. Not thinking anything of it, didn't know who she was, but just worked with her. And she was like, hi, I just wanted to let you know, like, I work for the Clippers, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, the LA Clippers? She was like, yeah. She was like, I was like, Los Angeles Clippers? She was like, yeah. She said, we're looking for a DJ. Would you be interested? And bro, like, when I say I stood up and corrected myself, my posture and all that to this lady that was on the other end of the line. And I'm going, sure. In my head, I'm going, what? Like, I've been a fan since 89. Like, I've been a fan since 89. Like, that was the time I got a chance to go to the games and got a chance to get, autographs, and there was nobody at the arenas. Like, they were playing with 1,000, 2,000 people in an arena that only held 9. You know what I'm saying? So It was empty, where they would bring you down so it didn't look so bad on TV. And
you could have jumped in and shot a couple
at any moment. At any moment, put on some chucks and some shorts, and I was in the game. You know what I mean? So I was like, yeah, for sure. She was like, okay, well, the season's gonna start. We want to try you out. I was like, yeah, for sure. She was like, we'll just have you on certain games. And I didn't realize, like, she just wanted me for the big games. So the Clippers-Laker game, the Boston game, or at that time it was, I want to say Miami, it was whoever else. It could have been Cleveland. I think LeBron was still in Cleveland at the time.
And what are you doing at the games? And
so I'm just playing music. I'm just a DJ when the guys run out, and then I would give it a different flair of what the music director was doing at that time. You know what I mean?
So like, halftime comes. What are you?
I would play some stuff for halftime, or they would already have halftimes performance or whatever, but then I would play after that and just kind of give it a different feel from their regular story. You know what I mean? So I was a guy that had been talked about, like the way radio heard about me, the way the streets heard about me. So it was just like, yo, get this kid, let's have some fun. He takes the directions well, but you'll like his flavor, so on and so forth. So did some games. And when I say did some games, it was like, okay, I was there tomorrow, but then I wouldn't be back until, what's tomorrow? The 15th of November, wouldn't be back till like the 3rd of December. But there would be other home games, but they just weren't big games. Then I go do the big game on the 3rd. Then I'd wait and do the game on New Year's Eve. And then it was like, okay, after All-Star, I got the call like, hey, we noticed when you're not here, how would you like to finish out the rest of the season? And I'm like, yeah, for sure. So I would do it every game at that point. We're halfway through the season. So I had about 20-something games left, or 20 games left. And then it was like, hey, thank you for your time, blah, blah, blah. It's been a pleasure. And she was just like, oh, so we're thinking about next year, maybe we'll add a banner for you, and maybe we'll give you a microphone. And I'm like, so I'm back next year? Like, huh? She was like, oh yeah, like for sure. Like, yeah, let me know what you need and blah, blah, blah. Let's talk as the season starts to get closer, and because I want you to do X, Y, and Z. And it was like, whoa. And then when they were like, we want to give you a microphone, I was like, for what? She was like, I love what you do at other events. I'm like, yeah, this ain't the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't say, where all the ladies at, our ladies say ho, all the hoes say ladies. Like, I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta keep it clean. And so it's just like, okay, like, I know what it's about. Separate the club, separate the ratchet stuff, and do the corporate thing, or do the thing that, is going to be something different. And it's like, okay, I get the microphone, and I know we're called Clipper Nation. Like, Clipper Nation, how we feeling? Clipper Nation, make some noise. And I was like, okay, if you're here to see the Bucks, make some noise. If you're here to see the Clippers, make some noise. All right, that's right. we definitely louder up in here, blah, blah, blah. And it wasn't until I said on a Laker game, who's here to see the Lakers and who's here to see the Clippers? And it was like, I was like, oh, I probably shouldn't do that no more. Then it was just like, okay, let's change up the way you do some stuff, but we like your energy, we like your enthusiasm. Cool.
And all this is it scripted or is it's free form at this point?
So I wasn't scripted just yet.
Okay.
I wasn't scripted. So my stuff was just hype moments. All right, let's get them going. And then the third year or the 2.5 year, they were like, oh, we want you to do some promotions. And I'm like where? She was like, down on the court. I'm like, down there? Because where I was up top. And I was like, down there? She was like, yeah. She was like, we'll have you do stuff from time to time. I'm like, okay. And she's like, oh, and here's the script. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, what is this? Okay. Commerce Casino Double Down Shootout. All right. I'm reading one contestant, blah, blah, blah. I had this for like 2 weeks.
And you had to memorize it.
You have your card. I don't even think I had a card at that time. We weren't on cue cards. So yeah, I had to kind of memorize it. So I'm going
that was the thing, because I've auditioned for like the Lakers one and I felt miserable. And it was like, because they had all kinds of different sponsors. They had the IB, that thing in your ear. Yep. And I thought I had it. I was on the middle of the floor and I said, I'm about to kill it. And then they're like, B.Woods, it's on you. And I was the Los Angeles Lakers. I was like, and Pachanga, and where the ladies at? Oh, and they were like, nigga, go home. And that was my experience. And so shout out to the Lakers. And so it was, but the moment when you're on, it's easy. Like when I think Kobe said this, it's like he said, a lot of people can do it, but can you do it under the lights?
Yeah.
And can you perform under the lights? And that's the difference between being able to do something and being able to perform when 30,000 people are looking at you or 40 people are looking at you. And and so you're at this moment and now you got the paper.
Bro, I had the script and I studied it for like 2 weeks. I'm like, okay, like you said, I'm gonna nail it. Our sponsor was Commerce Casino. That was the Pachanga of now and all that. And I'm like, okay, cool. Double down shootout. This person's gonna have a free throw. They're gonna have a layup, a free throw, a 3-pointer. And they're gonna get a chance to double it down at the 3-point line to take it all. Whatever, each time they do something, they're gonna win something. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. Got it. Man, that day came, I was sweating. I was like, okay, I still got to do my normal thing, but they're only gonna call me down once to come do this hit. Hands are sweaty, underarms just perspiration is just running down my shit. I ain't even done nothing. And it's cold inside the arena. So there's no reason I should be sweating because I ain't done shit.
Right.
So they're like, okay, send Dents down. I'm like, okay, I'm in a hallway. I hit the elevator and it felt like Malcolm X in the back seat of the car and a change room come, the slow motion Spike Lee cam. And it's just like going down the elevator. I'm like, and it's just like, I know. Like it's just going slow. The doors open. I go this back way I ain't never been. I get out and I look, and I'm now in the corner of the court. It's still not even timeout yet, and I'm going, what the fuck? Because I only see people from a certain direction. I got used to that. I see from where I was. I saw this. Just now, I'm like, I see the people above where I am. I see these folks, I see the folks behind me, and I'm like, okay. And they were like, next time out, Dent, you're going out. And I'm like, okay, cool. And it's just doom, 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 doom. And it's just, I have no IFB. This was before I even wanted IFB or anything like that. And that horn went, it was like, it just felt like it was, trouble. You're about to fuck up. And they pushed me out. So I walk out on the corner and then I could see my boss going, go. And then the guy that has the headset on is like, go. And I'm going,
he want to go home.
I'm still looking. Now I gotta shit. I gotta fart. I gotta do something. Like I gotta pee. I gotta do something. And I'm like, oh my God, like what am I? And they're like, somebody tell Dents to go. I don't know what the hell I was out there for. Like I have no idea, right? and I'm going out and I see this person walking with me that I have to now walk to the spot to start. So I'm walking with him, and it's like, come on, man. Like, let's, like, slow motion, like, let's go.
Right.
Like, what the hell is going on? And I'm seeing go, 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 you know. And I start walking up, and I knew I needed to be under the basket. And right when I did that, the thing flipped, because that's when they had those old vinyl things that flipped in the dasher area, and it said Commerce Casino, right? Boom. And I was like, welcome to the Commerce Casino Double Down Shootout. I have my man, what's your name? Boom. Well, you have your chance now to win up to blah, 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 blah. Like, it all came back to me once I saw the name of why I was out there.
Right. That's
right. So
that's so interesting. Yeah.
And it was just like, other than that, bro, I would have botched the shit out of everything. Like, it would have been like, I don't know why I'm out here. Like, y'all told me to come down. I studied this shit for 2 weeks and couldn't tell you shit. Couldn't tell you nothing. And that thing flipped, and I heard the vinyl like, it was like, Commerce Casino Double Down Shootout. Now shit's just flying. I'm like, here's my contestant. Oh, you have a chance to do a layup, a free throw, and a three-pointer. If you get all those, you can double your shot. Commerce Casino is going to give you up to $1,200. Blah, blah. And shit was just coming to me. And I was just like, and it was just like, I had so much shit. I was like, are you ready? It was like, I didn't said enough. And he's like, yeah. And it happened that dude won the 1,200. So I was like, ah! Like, he won that shit. And they were like, yo, let's get off the thing. And I went back up top, and I was going, what the fuck was that? What the fuck? And then the next game, she was like, all right, so I have you for X, Y, and Z. I'm going, slow down, slow down.
No, and it's all these new experiences. Your brain is going crazy, and it's just, and at the same time, it's a rush, and it's a fun rush though too. Yeah. And now you hear, how long have you been with the Clippers now at this point?
Okay. What, when I did that first hit, or right now?
No, just right now. Yeah.
Okay. So here's a question I ask everybody that asks me: how long do you think?
I'm gonna say, I have to at least say 8 years now.
That's what I get a lot, right? You know why I get that a lot?
Right.
Because a lot of people, everybody has their life, everybody does their thing. And a lot of people have never just looked at, they look at the Clippers as just whatever. Like, and I'm not putting that on you, but we all get caught up in our rigmarole of day to day. So I'm going to tell you to add 10 years to that.
Wow.
Right. 18. This is my 18th season.
No kidding.
Yeah. So think about it. Think about 8 years ago. What were you doing 8 years ago?
I don't remember what I did yesterday, but
I was there, and I was already 10 in, which is crazy.
And because I vaguely remember
0506 is when I started.
0506. And you were still at what radio station were you at the time?
I was at K-Day.
Okay, I do remember that.
And I was like, yo, I got the gig. And they were like, so it's not the Lakers.
That's right, because I remember your manager. What was the light-skinned brother?
Kyle.
Kyle.
Yeah, they're all light-skinned. Every Kyle's light-skinned.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, the light-skinned brother. Yeah, the light-skinned brother.
No disrespect. Love all the Kyles, man.
Shout out to all the light-skinned Kyles out there. The big fans of the show. But yeah, I remember Kyle, and he was like, okay. And he was telling me about that situation. So now you've been there for almost a couple decades with the team, and now you're growing within this space. And even though I'm a huge Laker fan, however, the Clippers still bring this Los Angeles audience with celebrities and different types of people. Yeah. In terms of like personal gigs and people hiring you, how has that changed? Did you have you like DJ'd at Michael Jackson's house and Tupac? Like, how does that work? What's the personal DJing gigs in that space?
I'm still the same dude. And again, everywhere I go, of course, I speak of what I do, and then of course I show what I do. and it's up to them to want to hire. You
But
may
are you getting those gigs though, like the Frankie Muniz gigs, like Billy Crystal? Are you getting those jobs?
I'm not getting Billy Crystal, but my name has grown, and I've done a little bit more than I would have probably if I was just still just kind of with maybe radio station letters or whatever. But then again, I can't say that I'm just like, oh yeah. I can definitely say that I'm not going out going, you know who I am? Like, I deserve this. I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get that. No, if the phone rings, the phone rings. If someone refers me, they refer me. Yes, I've done the Tom Cruise stuff. You know that. I did Siri's second birthday. You know what I mean? And I remember you called me one morning with what's the guy's name that you were with? Was it Valentine?
Yeah.
Like I had just done that with MC Light, like just random, bro. Like, how do you do Siri's second birthday, Tom Cruise kid? You know, but was that Clippers? No. Was that showing? Well, I can't say no, but has he ever been to a game? No, I do know that. Like that just came from Light and some other stuff, and it was just like, yo, let's do this, let's rock out, because my name is trust. It's yo, he's not going to do anything to destroy anything. He's not going to do anything to bring attention. He's not going to, like, he's a humble guy that does what he's going to do. You know what I mean? It's somebody that you can rely on and trust. You know, from there, you know, you do the corporate stuff, you do the big name folk stuff, you do stuff on TV, you do pilots, you do things like that. So Clippers helps, yes, for sure. But it's not a thing where I'm like, oh, on the resume, it's DJ Dennis from the Clippers. It's who I am. Okay, if you want to know the things I've done, this is what it is, and including Clippers, because yes, I'm doing the Clippers stuff. You know what I mean?
Right. And now you're at a different space, right? You've done your DJ career is what most DJs aspire to do.
Right.
You've done the radio, you're doing the in-studio stuff, you've done private parties, you've traveled. What's next for DJ Dents, goddammit?
Well, for one, it was this podcast. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Oh shit.
We've been waiting for you, brother. We've been waiting for you.
No, man, sky's the limit, brother. And that's not cliche. It's like literally where people want me to go. You know what I'm saying? I'm big on community. I'm big on local. I'm big on my space, meaning here where I grew up. So whatever that entails, even if that's staying in radio and becoming the full time that's really giving the people of LA what they want, whether it's being on TV, giving the localness of what's going on, the relatable, being relatable and being someone that you can come up to and communicate with and go to for advice. Like, I'm not Cleo, I'm not all this other bullshit, but like, I'm a real dude. So all I can do is speak on my own experience. You know what I mean? So if it's teaching others, if it's, bro, like DJ Dents talking in third person doesn't have a limit. You know what I mean? There's no limit to the brand. Like, the brand has taken off and done its thing. So why stop it from being what it could be? And what it could be is limitless. Like, there's no, like, why would I stop it? Why would I say no unless I knew it was going to hurt my brand? You know what I mean?
And that's dope. And I think that was one of your biggest things, is that you continue to say yes, and you've been able to create these opportunities, which is dope. And then a cliche question is, the world of DJing is different. You got Spotify, you got, I mean, all these different things. For the young folks that are out here, what would you tell a young DJ that's trying to, you know, get it popping?
Just like I would tell anybody, and I've had this conversation, and I've said this at the end of interviews before, and just don't be afraid to ask questions and know that we don't know everything. I don't know what you listened to before this interview. I don't know what you, B.Woods, listened to this morning on your way to wherever you were going. I don't know what triggered something for you to maybe want to almost cancel today. Not saying that that's what happened. I don't know what your vibe is up until I get a chance to talk to you and then maybe get a quick rundown of how your day is. So never assume that everybody's on your same page. It's the same thing with radio. It's the same thing as the arena. Everybody has a life to live, right? And you think about it in radio, I don't know who's on the other end of that microphone. I don't know who hears me in the arena and who's paying attention, but I know that everybody has a problem or a situation that they're dealing with. So if I have you for 15 minutes before the next commercial break, if I have you that whole 4 hours of my segment for radio because you're trusting in what I'm saying, or if I have you for 2.5 hours in the arena and you check your problem at the door, you come in and you have a good time and you relax because that problem is going to be right at the door to get to the car. You come in, I don't want you thinking about homework for the kids. I don't want you to think about dinner. I don't want you to think about, oh, I got to go to so-and-so's house this weekend and I really don't want to because some family issues. You're here with me. Let me get your mind off of that for a minute. But it's up to me to then ask those questions like, who's ready to have a good time? What can I do for you? I'm going to open up my social. I'm going to look at my social. Hey, this is so-and-so's first time here from Guam, and they're on their honeymoon, and they're doing a whole roundabout of California, and their first stop was a Clippers game. You know what? Shout out to so-and-so. Let me find out where they are, see if I can get them a shirt. Let me see if I can get them on the video board because I've already mentioned their name, but they're sitting in section 305, which is way up top. But guess what? Hey, I want my hoop troop. I need somebody to go, these are those people. Go get them a shirt. I want them to feel special about today because they're doing what they do. I just so happen to see it. So think about that. And from that point, you can say that there shouldn't be a limit to what you do because it's not about me. It's not my basketball team. And it's not my music that I'm playing. It's not my microphone that I'm on in that arena or at the radio station. Let me just be me and include you into what I'm doing. And hopefully that'll help take your mind off of things. Let me ask a question. Let me ask how you feeling today. Let me ask how you doing. Let me ask, can I get you something? It don't cost nothing to be kind. You know what I mean?
Yes, indeed. And no, that makes a huge difference. And the biggest thing too, and for all the DJs out there, how do you know you're a whack DJ? What's the top 3 signs to know that you whack? Because there's a lot of whack. You see, the reality is you see more bad DJs than you see good DJs. Whack DJ tip number 1. If you know you whack, how you know you whack?
I'm going to ask B.Woods, how does a DJ whack?
1, if they can't read the crowd and they play the music for themselves. And then the crowd just parts like the Red Sea, and it's just like that.
Okay.
2, they can't read the demographic of the crowd. You know, it's just like you trapping it out, and it's all old white people. And 3, I would say they just don't know the music, right? They'll do like some 70s funk going into some Young Dolph. Okay. And I'm like, boy, oh boy.
That might work.
Yeah, no. Depending on who it is. If it's DJ, right. Baby, if it's DJ so-and-so, I'm going home.
Right, right. Well, it sounds like you know the answer to your question.
Okay.
And you know me, like I'll never, because I respect the game. So again, I look at it as he or she just didn't know. Mm-hmm. But it took times like that for me to go, I just did a wedding reception and botched their intro and played only a minute and a half of their first dance because it was on a greatest hit CD, and then the guy's going to come in and start talking about that song because I didn't go do the homework on getting the actual record they wanted. You know what I mean?
Right.
So to say a whack DJ, I think that every DJ is learning, and it's up to them that if they continue to stay in the same space, then they'll continue to be where they are.
Okay.
Does it label them whack? No, it just labels them who they are. So their mind just isn't broadened by what else could happen. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't make them whack.
Okay.
We can sit here and go, oh, like, sound like a train wreck. Like this guy was cutting and doing this all over the place, but he thought that was cool to do. And then it takes somebody to go up and go, yeah, don't do that again in my spot. And he could either listen to it as constructive criticism, or he can go, oh, well, I'm gonna go over here. And if he hears it again, he might not come back to either one of the spots. So I can't say, oh, whack DJ. I can say whack mechanic. I can't say whack guy that does brakes, because if the car don't stop and you fucking crash into somebody, that's a whack motherfucker that did your brakes. You know what I'm saying? It didn't take the time to have the knowledge. So again, it's I'm not out here to call anybody whack. Everybody's got to learn. Everybody's not going to have the same computer, same hard drive, same knowledge of music, same voice on the mic. They're just not going to have it. You know what I'm saying? So it takes learning. It takes growing. I didn't know how to articulate words that well until radio happened and there was no Vox Pro. And then I do interviews. I do interviews live. I do interviews in front of people. I do interviews on the radio. It's, you start thinking and you start listening back. So every DJ, I think, needs to listen back to what they've done and see how to improve, you know? Absolutely. So don't hold it against me that I ain't call nobody whack. I just, again, I know what I do. It's like, for you doing this podcast, I'm sure you can think of a place where you want to be with your podcast series and a place that you don't want to be with someone else's podcast series. Doesn't make them whack, but maybe they don't have that Shure microphone that you have. Maybe they don't have the arm that you have, and maybe they're holding it the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they don't have a lavish couch that you have in the background with the light. You know, it's like it could be a multiple things. Right. You know what I mean? So, but if you get somebody on there that's just on the microphone and at the club and they just motherfucker this motherfucker and playing under curse words and out of the club, they're at a funeral, then he or she needs to listen to what they've done and take constructive criticism. Did it make them whack? No. It hopefully opened their eyes.
And so you're saying everybody has potential for growth.
Everybody.
Okay.
Me, you, I'm still growing. I don't know everything. I definitely don't know all the music. I definitely don't know the greatest segues to the next thing. I don't know, but I'm still learning and I still want to learn. Right. You know what I mean? It's different if you don't want to learn, if you just think like, oh shit, you know who the fuck I am? You know what I mean? Like, that ain't the way it is.
Well, that's it right there. The Yoda of the DJ game right here, DJ Dance. Give it up for him.
I appreciate you.
He's giving it up. But for real, yeah, definitely want to give you your flowers. You've done your thing out here. You've been a brand. You've been a staple. You've added so many dope memories to so many people here in Los Angeles. Yeah. And the memories are going to continue. And I definitely want to salute you for doing your thing out here. Where can people find you on social?
At DJ Dents, brother. That's all my social right there. At DJ Dents, whether it's my website, social, whatever, just DJ Dents, type it in. Google your boy. It's easy.
Hey, no doubt. Thank you so much for being a part of the podcast. And
absolutely.
Yeah, man. Thank you, brother.
Hey, we need to have a part 2, man. Like, I want to get a couple other people in here before you stop this. Like, I really want to get a couple other people in here, and we can just go like club to club, event to event, man. Like, yeah, I would love to get my perspective on what I was thinking at that time, because I can think about it at that time when someone brings it up, like, bro, you did this, and you said this, and the reaction was blah blah blah. Why did you? You know what I'm saying? Like, those things that trigger. But man, if I could just run down that memory lane, like, I'm here for episode 2, 3, 4. You just let me know. Like, we could be like who could be part of the 5 Club? I get a 5 Club jacket from B.Woods.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
yo, let's go.
Yeah, because those stories are there. I remember carrying those crates going up and
Monte Cristo.
Monte Cristo, man. some of these clubs got stories that will, that will blow your mind. So
yeah,
it's all good. We can definitely do it. We're gonna make that happen. DJ Dance Dog, double salute, my guy.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Continue success. And I hope I've just, given people a light of what I have. I know I could ramble, but I'm passionate about what I do. And again, you'll see, stop me in the street, say something, stop me at an event, say something like, I'm gonna be the same dude. You know what I mean? The same dude that I'm talking to you is the same dude that I'll be at a wedding reception, to an event, to at the park with the family. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And shout out to your pops too. So
my God. Yeah. Shout out to the Ponytail Bandit. Yes, sir.
Ponytail Bandit.
My
They
God.
call him DJ Dance.
Yes, sir.
B.Woods on the Mic podcast. Yes, sir.
Easy.